Sophie's Intuition. And so sorry that's been so long since I've done a face reading. I've been just really stressed in my personal life. Not to brag or anything, but I've been kind of anxious and stressed and not doing so well, but I'm feeling less stressed. So let's put it to the test and let's get into it. Okay, anyways. I don't even know what I'm saying. But I'm super happy that it's actually nice outside. That was another thing too, was the weather has just been awful in where I live, so. But today is nice. It is warm, it is sunny, and the breeze is warm, which is always such a nice thing, right? Let me just try and get my hair out of the way. And this is gonna be a fun little reading. I had an idea of doing, let me reveal the truth. The stuff that people don't want you to know right now. What are people trying to hide from the collective? I'm going to expose the truth. That's gonna be the name of this. This reading is like, let me expose the truth, okay? I'm so sorry. I'm being very extra today because I literally don't remember how to be on camera. So hopefully it's not too off-putting for you, but let's just dive right into it, shall we? Actually, let me take a sip first because my throat's been super dry today. I'm like, who allowed you to do this? Actually. Alrighty. Am I right? Or am I right? Let's just dive right into this. Let me expose the truth. What are people trying to hide from my collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are people trying to hide from the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are people trying to hide from the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. What truth are we here to expose for the collective? Oh my goodness. Okay, whoever you are, you're incredibly intuitive, so you might even know. Yeah, you might actually know what this is that people are trying to hide from you. Ooh, okay, I'm getting some juicy details. What the heck? Huh, okay. There was one flipped over in the deck, so I'm gonna take that one as well. Because that feels like it meant to come out. Okay. And we have, should I use this hand? Yeah, you can't see my bandage too much, right? Yeah, so we have the Four of Swords. So like this is the first one telling you that you're incredibly intuitive. Like even like look at the imagery here, third eye, completely open, shining bright. Maybe you've been spending some time in self-isolation or somebody that's in your energy. Honestly, it feels like you. It feels like you've been conserving your energy probably for a reason. And then the second card that came out is the High Priestess, which is literally the epitome of having a great intuition. So again, you might be receiving downloads from spirit through your intuition that are telling you what people are trying to hide. Yeah, not much gets past you. You have a sharp eye is what I'm getting. And then the Seven of Wands. To be honest, I got a message with this already about like how people are fighting for your attention. Because there's something about you that's really standing out with this flame in the middle. And I think that you have the eye of a lot of people. Could be specifically romantic, could be in a more passionate sort of way. Either way, I think you're really impressing people, and there's probably a lot of people looking to get your attention in some way. With that. And then the Three of Wands. I really love this imagery because it's like a portal. Like you're ready to cross over to this new stage of life here. But sometimes transitions take a little bit of pain. I don't know why, but I'm getting that. Painful transition this could be for you. But your future looks bright. And actually, that's perfect for this bottom of the deck energy because it's the Six of Swords. And that's all about moving into a calmer energy, more positive energy, more optimistic energy, something that has way more potential for growth than you've been accustomed to. So yeah, definitely energy shift happening here. Maybe it's not a person that's keeping things from you, but rather the universe. Like there's this energy shift that is happening that maybe you don't quite feel quite yet, or like it hasn't hit you yet, but it's like when it happens you'll know. But yeah, let's just dive right into the clarification because we got a few here to clarify. Starting with that Four of Swords. Please and thank you, Spirit. What do we have for that Four of Swords? Who is... Wait. Let's expose the truth. What needs to be exposed right now for the collective? Okay. I know a few flipped over. Let me see what those are. Got another one flipped over. Where are you? I could have sworn another one flipped over. Are you fooling me right now? Are you pulling my leg? Apparently their hands have been off my legs because I don't see another flipped over one. So I guess it's just these two. Clarifying that Four of Swords, we have the Three of Wands. So we saw that earlier, double confirmation for the Three of Wands, definitely. Yes. So you have been in this resting energy, maybe self-isolation period for a reason. Because you're going into a portal, into a next phase of your life that is very important. So you needed to maybe regret. I can't talk today. You were able to regain your strength through this process of taking a step back, focusing on yourself, listening to your intuition, intuitive downloads, tapping much more into spirit, less distractions, and it's all preparing you for this next phase of your life. And this is a next phase that's full of new growth, expansion. I'm getting. Feels exciting. But then we have the Four of Pentacles. I think I see now. The Four of Pentacles could be things that have what is that saying? Outlasted their usefulness? Something like that. Pretty much the old stuff that is not really helping you, aiding you, but you may kind of keep around because it gives you some sense of, and it's an illusion, but it gives you some sense of security. You've been maybe holding on to things that sounds a little harsh, Spirit. Spirit wants me to say that you have no business holding on to, and I think that's a little blunt. But honestly, I can kind of relate. So sometimes we need to hear the blunt truth from Spirit sometimes. But I'm getting that it's okay to release these things that are maybe, because it almost feels like I don't know why I'm getting this analogy, but it's like dead ends on your hair. Like your hair can grow and grow and grow, but if there's like a lot of dead ends, that can hinder your growth of your hair, and so those need to be cut off in order for your hair to be healthy. And you know, if you want it to grow out, or even if you don't want it to grow out, it's still good to get your dead ends cut off. I feel like, ooh, that's actually kind of powerful, the whole phrase dead end. I'm getting there's somebody that has, like, okay, this is the energy I've been picking up on, is like there's somebody that has been attached to your energy but they're like not who you think they are. It's like you think that it's going to pay off in this abundance, in this stability, in this security, but it's just not heading that way at all. But this person could be putting illusions into your mind, messing with your intuition. Because that's another thing too. And this is why we can't hold on to those types of energies, is because and it takes a lot of reflection to kind of get to the point of recognizing these people as the energy leeches that they are. But it feels like somebody may have been leading you on. And so you felt a connection with someone here and may have sort of clinged to them because you were like, well, clearly we have this maybe psychic connection. And that's the thing with intuition, is like somebody can feel all of the wonderful feelings for you, and see you as their soulmate. They could picture a whole future with you. In their mind, they may have 6 kids with you, and now you guys are grandparents, and you're so happy, and blah, blah, blah. But that's just the thing. They're illusions, they're fantasies, they're not based in reality. And honestly, those moments and those types of connections can be such a mind blank, if you know what I'm trying to say. Freaks out your mind because you think you have this divine connection, intuitive, psychic connection with someone, but they're just filling your head with lies and deceit and illusions, because these are fantasies that you're probably tapping into, and you probably do see their attraction in their eyes for you. You probably do see that they have feelings for you in some regard. But are they doing anything about it in the 3D to back that up? Or is it simply just intuitive downloads that you're getting? Because when you are a highly intuitive person, it's so easy to think that that is reality sometimes. And you can feed yourself those same fantasies. Like, yeah, we're going to be married one day. We're going to have babies. We're going to have a future. And it's like, but is that the reality, though? Because there is a dreaminess and, yeah, I'll just say dreaminess that is part of sort of being intuitive. Usually people that are highly creative are intuitive. And so, poop, I forgot where I was going with that. What was that message, Spirit? What was that? Pretty much like these types of connections, they turn out to be energetic leeches, and these are people that typically have no real plans in place to pursue you. I know that is, and I just recently went through this, so I am saying this from a place of compassion and genuine empathy. But these people are not your soulmates. No matter how convincing the fantasies are, no matter how strong the intuitive downloads are, they're not your soulmate, unfortunately. They are an illusion, and that illusion is meant to be broken down and revealed. The truth, is meant to be revealed. So I do feel like there's somebody out there that has maybe been holding on to hope for someone. But the thing with the Four of Pentacles is, when we hold on to something so tightly and we're afraid to lose it, we're actively closing ourselves off to our real soulmate, right? And that's the real kicker about it, is like when we have in our mind, like, yes, that person specifically is my soulmate. We intentionally or unintentionally devote ourselves and all of our energy, all of our brain, soul, heart, we devote it to that person. And we're so patient with that person. It's like they can take 10 years to come around to the idea that I'm their soulmate. Like they can, lead me on, give me false hope for the future. And I will understand. And I'll try to be compassionate. And I'll try to. And no. What you deserve is someone that actively shows up in the 3D, puts in the work in the 3D physically. Are they showing up to your door with flowers? Are they showing up to your door to confess the truth? Are they showing up in any way, honestly, that is actually useful and concrete and solid and foundational? Is it something you can build on top of, or is it simply an illusion and a daydream? Again, I'm going at this from a perspective of compassion, empathy, but I just feel like somebody out there probably needs to hear this message. Hell, I probably need to hear this message, right? Probably is part of why Spirit's bringing it through so strongly. But yeah, we need to release those energy leeches who give us mixed energy, who make us feel lesser than, who fill our heads with daydreams, send us psychic signals, get us so in our heads that we're closing ourselves off to true people, genuine people. And that's another thing too, is these types of energy leeches, they're not real. And by that I mean they are typically very false people. They put on a facade and they present that to the world, and to an extent all of us kind of do that to a degree, varying degrees. But these are the types of people that no matter how they're presenting to you, you don't truly know them. And that is not the type of person that you, A, should be with, and 2, deserve to be with. You deserve somebody that shows up authentically, genuine, and who they show up as is the type of person to put in that work, to show you in the first place that they're even interested, and not just show you, but say it. Because that's a whole nother thing too, is like getting somebody to say that they have feelings for you in this day and age is so freaking hard. Because nobody wants to be real anymore. Nobody wants to be real with themselves, real with other people, real with their feelings. They're so afraid of being vulnerable that it's like pulling teeth. But you and me, I'm going to include myself in this, okay? We deserve so much better than that. We deserve people to show up in our lives and express themselves authentically and, genuinely want to be with us. And not just want to, but do the effort that it takes to come together in a real 3D way. And I'm hammering this home, literally, just as much to me as I am to all y'all who may be resonating with this message right now. Anyways, let's get back to the reading, though, because that was a nice message, right? Good reminder to remind us, we are worthy, right? We are worthy. But the cool little juicy message with this card right here, I really like the imagery because it's like, yeah. And actually the way that this whole image is actually kind of clever, because it's like these pentacles are dangling. Oh my gosh. Dangling the carrot. I really do feel like I'm tapping into somebody that has had somebody in their life. Maybe this was fairly recently or in the past, or maybe you've since moved on from this person, but this was a significant connection in one way or another, even if it never was based in the 3D. Because, the 5D and having a connection in the 5D is totally real and valid. And that person probably knew what they were doing. Anyways, because that's another thing too. These energy leeches probably have some sort of psychic or intuitive ability, but they abuse that. They use that in the way that only serves themselves. Anyways, it's really like the shadow side of you, and that's where the whole false twin comes from. They reflect back to you your characteristics that you love about yourself, and you think, this person's just like me. Oh my gosh, what are the odds? And it's because you're so wonderful that they're showing up like that. It's not because of them. They're uncreative. They just mimic. So these types of energy leeches who, give us false hope and all that stuff, they are just like our evil twin, and that's, not even accurate at that, because it's like they are simply a collection of your qualities reflected back to you, but it's not even true to who they are at the end of the day. Anyways, getting back to the freaking point that I meant to say. Oh, I think because of the pentacles, like being on strings, dangling in the image, somebody probably was dangling a carrot, and to try and get in your pants. I just got gross, and we're not here for that, or at least personally I'm not here for that. Because, well, honestly, most of you probably aren't either here for that, because most intuitive people want a deep and meaningful spiritual connection, right? Not to say all people that are intuitive need that or want that or whatever, but anyways, dangling a carrot. Pretty much this was somebody that was dangling the hope, promise of this illusion in the future, but they had no real intention of following through with it, and at the end of the day, I think they know that, but they probably kept that away from you, that knowledge, that, this is really just a fantasy. I'm not actually planning on pursuing someone and being vulnerable. Ew, but yeah, so that could have been part of your experience, but those little globes that he's looking at with the fire inside, you have a fire in you that can create something that is so much better than whatever kind of fake promise or hope that this person was dangling in front of your eyes to keep you going, to keep you guessing, to keep you on the hook. Because at the end of the day, this person doesn't want to lose you because you're probably some sort of ego boost to them. It's like, oh, well, at the end of the day, at least I have this person that's interested in me. I must be valuable after all. And that's a whole nother thing, but let's not get into all that. But you have this beautiful fire inside of you that can create something so much more beautiful than anything that this energy leech could have even imagined for your future. So trust that. Trust that you have the power to create anything and attract anything or anyone that you need, want, desire. Because you're incredibly powerful, and this person knows it. That's why they don't want to lose you, but you have standards for a reason, baby, right? Yes, and then the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, so if you are rebuilding after a time of hoping for someone that had no plan on following through, or you are actively releasing those types of people, or you're just trying to build back up your strength, because if you have been in self-isolation for a while, getting reacclimated to socializing and putting yourself out there again. Pretty much just be patient with yourself is the main message with this. because it may take some time for you to heal, for you to fully move on, for you to truly recognize your true worth, and to even see hope, you know? So have patience with yourself. Spirit will have patience with you. But the most important part is for you to have patience with yourself in this journey that you're on. Because your future is going to look really bright, and I don't want you to like miss out on that or think it's not coming. It is. I want to see what's underneath this Seven of Pentacles out of curiosity. The Magician. What did I just say? What did I just say with that Four of Pentacles here? I said you had the ability to attract, build, create anything or anyone that you want. Well, maybe not create anyone. Well, I don't know. People talk about the build a boyfriend thing. I'm kidding, obviously. Anyway, the Magician, all about manifestation. You're on the right track, baby. May not feel like it because you may be at a lower point, or it doesn't even have to be specific to any sort of situation. It could just be low energy, and you're trying to like build back up your energy, back up your strength. But yeah, be patient with yourself because you're incredibly powerful and you can create whatever the hell you want out of your life. Okay? And that is the tea. I also think that with that Four of Pentacles, that energy leech was probably trying, well, for one, probably trying to distract you from the truth of their, their truth, that they're never going to actually put in that real work that actually matters when building a relationship. So yeah, they were probably trying to hide that, but also I think they were also trying to hide the fact that you are limitless. You're incredibly powerful, and maybe they wanted to distract you from that, make you feel lesser than, make you feel like, oh, will they or will they not choose me, you know? Am I even worthy of them in the first place? Honey, you're so worthy. They just want to distract you and, make it feel like they're the one that holds all the power, when in reality, they know it's you. Okay? Let's go into the High Priestess. Please and thank you, Spirit. What needs to be exposed to the collective? Who and what is trying to be hidden? What is hiding in the darkness? For the collective, let's expose the truth. I'm going to take those two because they feel significant. Am I? Okay. Clarifying that High Priestess. We have the Eight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Page of Swords. So clarifying the High Priestess, starting out we had the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Cups. Both of those are cards of communication. One is very passionate, positive, fast incoming communication. The other is communication about feelings. I just hope this isn't that energy leech that we were just talking about, trying to come around. Ooh, yes, because that High Priestess is you embodying your full power and prowess and your everything that makes you so amazing. To be honest, I'm going to just say this. The best karma, if you want this person to get their comeuppance and, you want them to get their karma, the best kind of karma, the strongest, the most, yeah, powerful sort of karma is for them to see what they're missing out on, you know? So if that's, zhuzhing up your hair a little bit, putting on a cute outfit, maybe doing some makeup, if that's your thing. You don't have to wear makeup to be beautiful, by the way. Just saying. Some people might relate. Or maybe if you're not super physical focused, you can always focus on your spirituality, focus on your health, focus on your career, your dreams, your aspirations, putting energy in those directions. And because you're filling yourself up with that effort and energy, regardless of how you're doing it or what you're doing specifically, it will show. And when you are around this person, every single time they see you, they're going to have to live with the knowledge that they fumbled a real one. And that's really sad. Because imagine somebody has an opportunity with you and they fumble it. That's insane. That's insane. And they'll have to live with the pain of knowing that they could have had it all, but they were too stupid, too selfish, too unenlightened, ungrounded. Selfish keeps coming through over and over again. But yeah, so, and that's why I really don't think it's worth the time or energy of thinking about that person that, broke your heart or deceived you or whatever, because simply by you just focusing on yourself, fueling yourself, feeding yourself, filling yourself with everything that is good, will make them see. Obviously, they're not gonna, they won't break down in tears when they see you, but they're gonna have to go home and think about that. Like, damn, they're looking really good now. They look like they've been taking care of themselves. They look like they have something in their life that they really care about, that they're passionate about. And it's not me. And that's exactly how they're going to feel. But if this happens to be that energy trying to sneak and slither its way back into your life, because maybe they caught a whiff of you and they see that you got something going on that they want a piece of, I think you know what to do, right? I think you know what to do. You're gonna shut that down real quick, right? And if that is the case, if that's the way that this is coming through, and that's the message there, with the Page of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, I just think that's really funny, because it's almost like this person is all talk and no action. It just is what it is. Because, we think of, and I mean action in the 3D, right? Because, we're talking about 3D, grounded reality. That's Pentacles, baby. So, they may try at first to show you that they can be stable with you, that they have actually something to offer here, but they're showing up as a freaking page, dude. That's not very long lasting. That's curiosity at best. It's not enough to build a whole relationship off of. And I feel like they are just dicking you around. I'm gonna just say it like that. Because that Five of Pentacles following that, I think that there's a hollowness to this person. If this is the storyline I'm picking up on here, there's a hollowness to this person that they probably tried to fill through meaningless connections or fantasies of connections, I guess. They feel truly insecure, truly lacking. They feel this endless hole of lack and emptiness inside them, which no one person can ever fill, whether it's you or Jesus Christ himself coming from the heavens. Like, literally, this person will never have the substance, the confidence to back up what they say in the 3D. Yup. Because it's like they're trying to promise you something. It's like, say we live in a society where it's like, I don't know, pine cones are currency or something. Like, that's the most valuable resource. I'm only saying pine cones because I'm surrounded by pine cones right now. But yeah, and this person shows up with an empty sack on their back. But they want you to believe that they got pine cones, right? So they're saying, I'm gonna give you so many pine cones. I'm gonna give you so much pine cones that you're not even gonna know what to do with yourself. I'm literally going to provide you with every sort of pine cone you ever could have conceptualized, and I'm gonna give you every single one. I'm gonna give you so many pine cones. You're not even gonna know what you're gonna, you'll never even know what you're gonna do with all these pine cones. I have so many pine cones in my sack. You may not see them, but they're in there. I promise. Come to find out, you believe them. You're like, okay, fine. If you got the pine cones, I'll let you into my little castle here, and you get them into the castle. You maybe close the door so that your enemies can't get in, right? I don't know why I'm thinking of a castle specifically. But you let them into your castle, you close the door, and you're like, okay, well, since we're here, you promised me pine cones, give me those pine cones, baby. Come to find out, oh, you know what? I guess my sack is kind of empty right now. But if you wait, like maybe a million years, I will have pine cones for you, probably, maybe, eventually. Suddenly, that doesn't sound the same. Doesn't have quite that same sort of value, maybe, or as much interest, and you feel duped, you feel deceived. That is this person. If this is the message I'm getting with this, because I'm getting two messages pretty much. I'll also read the other way, but the main one, if this has to do with some sort of energy leech, that's the type of thing they're gonna do. They're gonna be really in your face. They're gonna be really trying to convince you that they got pine cones, baby, when they don't have even one, okay? And you deserve all the pine cones in the world, honey. So don't waste your time on people that don't have pine cones. I don't know why I'm using this analogy, but whatever. Yeah, they're all talk, nothing to actually back things up, nothing to actually root this in reality and have something to build upon for the future. But, and this is the way I'm writing it for this message, the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. The Page of Swords is an observer, somebody that's also curious, but their curiosity leads them to knowledge, information that can be used later on. I think you've seen everything you need to see. You've seen everything that you need to see from this person. You've seen their lack of effort for long enough. You've heard their lies long enough. You've felt their deception for long enough. You've felt the pain that this connection has brought you for long enough. And I think you got better things to worry about. You're like, I already learned all my lessons. I'm gonna go on to the next thing that makes me curious because you no longer make me curious. Let's see what's underneath that Page of Swords out of curiosity. Page of Cups. Yeah, so in that context of what I was just saying, it's like, I want to find something else to make me curious because I'm no longer curious about you. I've seen all I need to see and I'm done. But then it's like, when you have that mindset of like, yeah, I want to see what else makes me curious. I want to see what else is out there for me because this person clearly is a dead end. And so you open your mind, you open your heart, you open your soul. And then maybe that's when you meet someone that sparks your little crush feelings, that lights you up a little bit. Somebody that's real, somebody that actually has what it takes to make things real and certain and stable. Okay, so that's one way of reading it. The other way I'm getting is this incoming communication and expression of feelings could be from somebody else. This could be incoming new energy to shake things up and to show you like, hey, you still got it. You know, there's plenty of people that are still interested in you. There's plenty of opportunities around the corner for you. And they're attracted to you being in your power, being authentic to who you are. But then the other way is like with the Page of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, there's like this thing about like pausing and truly thinking through something here. This could definitely be someone that makes you curious, but if you're just getting through something that was toxic, I can definitely see you pausing and being like, hold up, you know? But I see you pausing and being like, is this actually worth the investment? Because I'm so done with my investments not paying off. Me investing in the wrong types of people and situations. So that could be your energy, kind of how you're perceiving this. And then the Five of Pentacles is like, this is what I'm used to. People not following through. People making me feel like I'm the one that is lacking. When in true reality, it has been them. Because they don't have what it takes. They don't have enough pine cones to please me. So they try to convince me that it's me who doesn't have the pine cones. And I got so many pine cones, dude. But yeah, you've had a bleak past. And so it's like, yeah, people have not followed through with their promises. People have tried to make me feel like I'm lacking. When in reality, they were the one that was lacking. And so, seeing somebody new come in, enthusiastically as well, you're probably going to be like, I need to think this through. I need to make sure that you're actually who the hell you say you are, dude. Right? And again, with that Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck, pretty much a similar message. It's like, you, honestly, you could just be in this very, like, curious mode right now. And it's probably because you're releasing whatever the heck that was in the past, right? And so now you've opened yourself up to the idea of like endless possibilities because you're no longer staying one track minded. You're not staying attached to one specific outcome or person or situation. And now you're curious about the world. You're curious about, you know, the types of other connections you could find in the world. You know, World Wide Web definitely could be involved with this. So it's like maybe online dating, you start to put yourself back out there. Maybe you're like, wow, okay, there's actually way more people that have similar interests to me than I thought. Or, you know, maybe you find one of those dating apps that are like more niche and you can find people that have similar interests and you find somebody through one of those more niche dating apps potentially. But you're just open. You're open to like, okay, so that was a dud. But I'm open. I'm open to the possibilities now. Because I'm no longer attached to that bozo. And then bada bing, bada boom. That's when you find a little crushy crush. Yourself getting a little bit of crush energy. Getting a little crush on someone. And that's where it begins, right? It starts out as a crush. But it's the 3D backing up of those feelings, the showing up, the being authentic, being true, being honest, and showing it through your actions, not just words, actions, 3D realness. And I think you're gonna, yeah, I think you realize you're so much better off with this person from the past. And I think you're exactly where you need to be in the timing that you need to be there. And that can be so hard, especially if you're just going through a breakup or, a disillusionment, And you're just like, damn, am I ever gonna find the one, right? Like, am I doomed? Am I cursed? And it's like, no, you just gotta open yourself up, and there's probably someone closer than you expect, honestly, is what I'm getting. Closer than what you expect. Maybe the timing is closer than you expect. So just be open. Be open to the possibilities. And do not restrict yourself. Do not think you don't have what it takes, because you definitely do. You got a lot of good qualities, so trust that, okay? Let's go on to the 7 of Wands. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this all about? What are we exposing for the collective? Please and thank you. Okay, that's a lot, but I'm going to take them because maybe there's a story here. The Lover's card came out in this direction. And I was getting the message earlier with that 7 of Wands that people are competing for your attention, whether that be simply in a passionate way or in a romantic way. Could also be maybe in a career sort of sense. People are like, wow, this person's like really talented. And then the Lovers. Definitely for one, you've been making the right decisions. Spirit is very happy and proud of you for doing that, because it's like those right decisions can sometimes be, and this, by right decisions, I mean like aligned to your higher self, right? And the track it takes to get there to your higher self. Some of those right decisions can be very painful or hard or difficult, but Spirit wants to say, hang in there, because you're doing the right thing. But also, this could be that through you, like, there's something about you just showing up as your authentic self, and that's enough. Okay? I know that we can so often feel like who we are truly is not enough, that we need to tweak something, that we need to change something, we need to conform, we need to restrict, we need to cut our edges so we can fit in these cookie cutter shapes, but we're not meant to. And simply by showing up as your authentic self, being the bomb is literally you. And by simply being yourself, you're going to attract your soulmate. It just is what it is. Okay. And then we have like quite a few that also came out, but these came out together, so it's like probably telling us a story. So we have the Emperor, 10 of Swords, King of Cups, the Magician, 8 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Wands. Okay. Well then. Okay, so there could be 2 to 3 people that are interested in you, that may be trying to actively pursue you, but you're really closed off to them and confused. I think you're particularly closed off to someone that you perceive as an emperor. Somebody that could have had a position of power, could have been somebody that gives boss energy, somebody that seems really confident, self-assured. But the 10 of Swords following that is like, okay, that ended in a complete disaster. That was so heartbreaking, so devastating, probably full of betrayal. So if this bozo tries to come back in, you're going to be like, I know my worth. And no. because I don't want to go through this painful ending all over again. Like, obviously. So if that person tries to show up into your life again, you're going to be like, do I look stupid? Do I have stupid written on my forehead? Because no. Like, obviously no. But it's like after that time of pain, acceptance, healing, trying to move on, there's this King of Cups that's trying to come in. And this King of Cups is somebody that's really authentic. Somebody that actually has deep feelings for you and probably has enough to back up those feelings. Somebody that's probably not afraid to express their feelings and, share that with you. And then the Magician. So this could either be a third identity, or I think it could be even this King of Cups. So maybe it's just two people here, but could be a third, depending on the situation. But in the context of it being the King of Cups, they've been trying to manifest someone that is probably just like you. They've been working on their life. They've been investing in themselves. They've been strengthening themselves. And through that, they've gained the power and ability to manifest what they want, just like you have. And so when they come across you, they're probably like, this is my manifestation. This is my wish fulfillment. This person right here. That is so freaking awesome. But then the Eight of Swords follows that, and I think this is definitely your energy of being like stuck in your head, and I don't blame you because of your past experiences especially. You're gonna be hesitant. You're gonna be like, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to feel. I don't know if these people can even be trusted in the first place. Are they worthy of being trusted? Are they even worthy in general, right? So you may be a little bit stuck up in your mind, especially if a new person presents themselves, because I feel like you kind of already know how to handle that past situation. But if there's somebody authentic and true showing up in the present moment that you're maybe, probably newer, you're probably going to be like, I literally have no idea if I can trust you. And, it definitely feels like it's no judgment on that person, but rather just because you've gone through so much, you're just like, no, I don't know if I can do this again. Especially if it's like a powerful connection that you feel with that person. It's like, I literally just felt that sort of powerful connection with somebody else, and it went so badly. So please don't, please don't do the same thing. But I really actually do like this image, because it's like, maybe this person's reluctant to exit this situation, but it looks like she's trying her best. She's leaving it. She's like, okay, I've had enough overthinking, enough being stuck in my head. I'm ready to leave that. I'm ready to leave that behind. I have the ability to free myself, and I choose to, right? So I think eventually you'll see things clearly, but you're probably going to have a little period of being overwhelmed and not knowing what to do and maybe overthinking things a little bit. And that's okay. But the Queen of Wands shows up and is saying, this is you. You are fiery, passionate, incredibly attractive, and you know who the hell you are. So, you're literally a babe. To anyone with eyes, to anyone with a personality, you're a babe, right? So, you're going to realize this. You're going to realize that you're a hot ticket, hot commodity, that you have it going on, and that you don't have to settle. And you refuse to settle. Let's see what's underneath that. The World card. Yes. Honey, that is beautiful energy, because that's saying that you've accepted those past lessons for what they were. They were lessons. Something for you to gain knowledge from and move on. Dust yourself off and keep pushing. And that's what you're doing. Because you've learned your lessons that you needed to learn, and you're ready to move on. You're ready to move on to the next phase of your life, and you're ready for that to be full of so much more growth and endless potential and possibility. So, okay. Let's go on to the Three of Wands now. See what this portal's all about. Please and thank you, Spirit. What needs to be exposed with this Three of Wands for the collective? What needs to be exposed? What are we exposing with this Three of Wands? What is this future for the collective? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? Maybe one more card? Maybe one more card? Thank you. Oh, two. Two came out. That's okay. Okay, clarifying that Three of Wands, we have the Hierophant. Oof. You got the knowledge. Oh, you have so much knowledge. You literally could be teaching people because you literally have an overabundance of knowledge. Actually, I don't think you can ever have too much knowledge, so scratch that overabundance, but you have an abundance of knowledge here. You have so many freaking wise words, lessons to teach other people, okay? Yeah, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're wise, you're experienced. You have so much to share with people, especially spiritual stuff. Because I feel like you've gone through a journey, okay? So you're ready to teach other people, whether you feel that or not. That's probably the next phase you're going into is like, hey, let me share with you how I got to this point, right? Because especially if you're coming into the time of like that Queen of Wands energy we saw, people may just perceive you as like this person that's confident and has always been like that, right? But then you're like, no, I have never been confident in my life until I went on my spiritual journey. And now I am. And this is how you can too. You know? That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. Anyways, and then we have the Knight of Wands. And I said, I think I was like saying like, what is this? And then this popped out. This Three of Wands portal. I mean, you could. I mean, I'm not here to judge. You may be having a little bit of a player sort of energy that you're stepping into. No. I don't know, because like it feels like you're way too enlightened to be a player necessarily, because that gives a, a murky tone to it, right? Because that would sort of indicate that you're being duplicitous or lying in some regard or not telling the full truth. I don't think it's that. I think you may just be in your dating era, to be quite honest, where you're just like, okay, maybe I'll go on a date with this person. Maybe I'll go on a date with this person. But I feel like you're not going to truly commit yourself to anyone unless you know that they are truly on your path and here for you in the ways that you need, right? Yeah. And then we have the Moon card and the Justice. So in terms of what needs to be exposed, what is going to be exposed is like something that has been in the dark, something that's been uncertain, something that's been causing you fear. You're going to get that balanced out. You're going to experience a strong sense of justice. Could be karmic, could be legitimate justice in the 3D. But either way, it's going to make you feel good, and it's going to make you feel like things are finally just, that there's finally a balance to the universe, that there's good energy on your side, finally. If you've been feeling like you just can't catch a break, like this is a time of you not only catching a break, but probably flourishing. Feeling like, okay, now that I got these things going on in my life, I can feel like I can start to build something on top of it or something. Like, regardless of whatever it is. But I feel like this justice that's coming in for you, it's going to be following a time of fear, not quite knowing something, not quite seeing something completely. But you're going to have clarity. And that clarity is going to bring about balance and hope. I'm giving hope for the future. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, I'm getting single era, but like single and abundant here, and then single and dating here. So I don't think you're going to be closed off by any means to the possibility of somebody turning into something. But I don't know if you're going to be like, you're definitely not going to put all your eggs in one basket. You're not going to pour all your energy, hopes, and dreams into one person. I feel like you're going to kind of dabble, maybe, kind of test the waters here and there. And I think that's perfectly reasonable, rational, and healthy. And you're not going to just like blindly devote yourself to anyone anymore, where you may have done that in the past. And again, I'm not judging. I've been there too. Yeah, so Nine of Pentacles. I want to see what's underneath that. Ace of Swords. So you could be coming into success because of your ideas, your communication. We had the Hierophant, baby. So you sharing your lessons, you sharing your knowledge, your wisdom with people, that could be bringing you in bank. Okay? That's a lot of stability, a lot of abundance. And it's all thanks to you, baby. And maybe your own knowledge. You may not even know that you're super knowledgeable about something, but it's going to serve everyone that you know and interact with. Something about valuing your knowledge as well is going to be very important. Yeah, so we saw the Six of Swords earlier. You're moving into a better time. I feel like this whole reading has kind of been indicating that, right? But let's see underneath that. What's underneath that? Okay, if I can actually grip it. King of Swords underneath the Six of Swords. So, oh, I was actually just looking, and underneath that King of Swords is, okay, Two of Swords, but underneath that Two of Swords is the Ace of Cups. Okay, this King of Swords could try to come into your life, and you may be kind of confused about them, but there could be love here. Or you're being called to go outside your comfort zone when it comes to this King of Swords. I don't know why, but it feels like this could definitely be an ex. Maybe not that specific one that we saw earlier. It could be a different one. But somebody that's maybe not super emotional, but not cruel, not, unfair or anything, but just not really, maybe not emotionally available. And maybe that's something you catch from this person. You're like, do I really, like, even if this person's super interested in me, if they're unwilling or unable to say how they feel about me, then what's the point? And that's, I think, why you're kind of like stuck in your head when it comes to this person, this King of Swords. And then you're like, I really don't know what to do. But if you move outside of your comfort zone and say, no, I think, I'm going to keep pushing and, hope for and believe that there's something better out there. And then you come into that time of finding something better out there. So trust yourself, trust your intuition, and trust that there's better out there for you. Because there is. Simple. Do you mean to tell me in this whole wide world with a million billion people on it that not one other person can be your soulmate? Because most of us only need one, right? Unless you're polyamorous, I guess. No hate. Have as many soulmates as you want. But where is it going with that? Yeah, in this whole wide world, do you really believe that scrub from your past was the only soulmate for you, dude? Think again, honey. Think again. You got your soulmate out there somewhere. And the best way to find them is to put yourself out there. Okay? Now let's dive into the oracle. Okay. And we'll just ask, is there anything else that needs to be exposed? Or maybe a helpful message or two, if you could. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay, there's extra one that came out. I didn't mean for it to, but it came out either way. So we'll see what that is. We'll see what it is. That's way too many. And they all went all crazy. So I'm going to put those back. No, I'm not going to put those back. I'm going to keep them because they probably are important. Thank you, Spirit. I love these sort of freaking synchronicities when I break out the oracle and it's bringing up the themes that we were literally just talking about, because the first one that came out, seek the truth, baby. And I think you're doing just that. You're seeking the truth. And not just that intuitive download, but what is going on around you? What is happening in the 3D, right? And you're catching on. Mosquitoes are coming out now. Oh, bother. But yeah, seek the truth. And I think you're doing exactly just that. You're looking for the truth beyond the curtain, the cloak that is disguising the truth. You're looking beyond, and you're going to find it. And you're going to be like, yes, that's all I needed to know. I'm going to keep going on my path. Move card, I literally just did the card of the day earlier, and this one was the card that came out. To be honest, especially with that seek the truth, I feel like when you see that truth, you're gonna know exactly what to do, baby. You're gonna know to move away from that energy leech, or whatever I was calling it earlier, because they don't have the pine cones, baby. And you deserve the pine cones. You deserve all the pine cones. So don't give up until you get those pine cones. Okay, and then we have clarity of belief. And I think that this is exactly how you're gonna feel. When you get that truth, when you get that information, when you learn that lesson, you're gonna be like, honestly, in hindsight, I'm kind of glad that that happened the way that it did. Because now I see things clearly, and I know exactly what I'm gonna do, baby. Hell yeah. Darkest fears. Definitely feels like you're releasing your fears, maybe specifically in regards to love, not necessarily. But you're releasing your fears, and these are fears probably around your worth, probably around, whether you deserve love or not, or happiness or fulfillment, and you do. Obviously you do. Every single person on this earth deserves that. So are you telling me that you're just the only exception to that? No. You deserve everything. Okay? And you're releasing those fears. Just breathe. This is representing, I'm pretty sure, the Four of Swords, which we had it earlier in the reading. So, taking time out for yourself, making sure you're tapping into yourself, into your body. How does it feel? Does it need anything? How can you fill your cup even more? Feed your soul even more? Taking a step back and focusing on you is going to definitely be helpful, I feel like, along your path, and just in general. And then detach. So I think that's exactly the sort of energy you're stepping into, is like, not detached in the way that you're apathetic about everything. No, you're just gonna be smart, intelligent, detached in that regard, of like, I don't know this person super well, so I'm gonna hold off on getting too attached to them right off the bat. I'm gonna wait and see what they show to me, and I'm gonna see if that's the truth. Do they back up the things they say? Do they follow through? Those are the things that you're waiting to see before you become attached to people, and I think that's smart. That's exactly where you need to be, what you need to be doing. Okay? Okay, and then at the bottom of the deck, we have the higher throat chakra. And that goes perfectly with the Hierophant, the Ace of Swords we saw. You have a message to share with the world, so get out there and share it. I mean it. Throat chakra. Also, just throat chakra healing meditations on YouTube could be helpful for you to listen to during this time. Practicing speaking, practicing, socializing. All of those things could be very helpful, because you have a message that is so important and it needs to be shared with the world. And you're the one to share it, baby, okay? All right, so that is the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that it resonated it, if it did resonate, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective. Because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.